welcome to Brew Tap Cast. I am Tap, here another Flesh and Blood video. Today we will be going over our fourth and final official Precon Monarch Budget Blitz deck upgrade. Today we are doing Boltyn. We have our warrior, our hatchet-bearing warrior, as our target for today's video, and we will be going over the deck, talking about what we're going to take out, talking about what we're adding in, and trying to boost it up for under a budget. So this is a $50 total upgrade in the sense of you get this, and you have some amount of money, total of $50 USD. To upgrade that deck, try to make it a little bit more fun and competitive. We're going super hyper aggressive with this Boltyn deck today, and that's what we're going to do. So let's jump right into it. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Again, this deck, the way it is totally playable. It's not super streamlined, but it's still fun to play. And Boltyn is a fun hero. His hatches can be kind of exciting if you want to do like a lot of go wide turns. And you know, the original build of this deck is slower paced in a sense of it slowly builds your soul so you can use that Boltyn reaction. You can charge a bunch to try to get that nice pump if they block with attack actions, but it's really not perfectly super powerful streamlined. And we're actually able to upgrade this deck fairly easily with prices of a lot of the cards we're putting in, because anything that really charges is really powerful with this deck, and that's really what we focused on. So so ultimately this is going to be an ultra aggressive build. It will not be very defensive. There's no defense reactions in the upgraded thing. There's none in the base one as well. So it's very more like you just have to push, and punch. You know, he's the V for the Vanguard. You just got to go for it and go for it. And that's really all you got to do. So what do we want to do? We want to swing a lot, attack with our attacks, and then swing our weapon for free. You'll see how we do that later. We also want to charge. So every time we attack, we'd like to charge, because it turns on that +1 bonus if they block with an attack action. So obviously, you know, against Wizard, this deck is just mediocre. You're never having that inherent addition to your attack that will allow you to use the Boltyn reaction to get go again. So in that regard, it's just a bad matchup. You can still be hyper aggressive and push through. It's just going to be a lot harder to get wider turns, which are kind of important for this deck. But we can work around that a little bit, because we do have some equipment and attack reactions that can help us get there. But ultimately, it's not a great matchup. Additionally, Prism, we don't have any 6-power attacks in this deck, so we're really going to fall flat there. Anything that's hyper aggressive, we don't have a lot of defense, so that will also be kind of a pain. It should be a slug match there. So we do play a lot of face up in this deck, because we are looking to try to get bonuses on our attacks so we can give them go again. And it's up to our opponent to allow that to happen sometimes. So we have our ability to charge. Again, in the upgraded version, only 4 cards don't inherently charge when we play them, that are attack cards, I should say. So almost every card is allowing us to charge, turning on that effect that if we have charge from Boltyn, as you can see, you get that +1 if they defend with an attack action. And that's super powerful, and that's kind of the crux of the deck. So we're hoping we don't play things that have a lot of auras or defense reactions, or we're playing Wizard or anything like that, because then it kind of shuts down the ability for this really to go wide. So you have to see how your local meta actually works to see if this build is actually going to work for you, or Boltyn in general will work for you. So again, 4 cards don't charge, so we're really pushing into that charge thing. We want to talk about what we added. First, let's talk about what we dropped off. So first thing down, Invigorating Light. So this card is great. This would be our only card that actually breaks Phantasm cards, but it just doesn't really do a lot. It's very expensive, 6 attack for 3 cost, and only defense for 2. And it's great that no matter what, this goes into your soul. But that's not really what we want to do with Boltyn. We don't want, after the combat chain closes, to be able to get a thing in our soul. We want to have this pre-combat, we want to charge too. This isn't charge, this is just putting it into your soul. So yes, it allows you to use a Boltyn reaction later in the game, but it doesn't actually charge. And so it doesn't turn on Boltyn's +1, and ultimately it doesn't really do enough. So in that regard, it's out. It doesn't really do a lot, and it's just not really there. So yes, our 1 card that blew up Phantasm is out of the deck. Illuminate. So these cards, again, you know, 0 cost for 2, that's great. It also has an unhit into your soul. Again, not charged, not exciting, super not going to ever hit, because like you can block it with like a lot of equipment, and then like any card that has defense will block for this. Not making the cut, not aggressive, not powerful. Blue Engulfing Light, as well as the blue Bolt of Courage. We just didn't put these in. A 1-power attack that has a great on-hit effect doesn't really matter if you're only attacking for 1 or 2 if they've charged and they block with an attack action. You know, any card is that can defend is going to defend for at least 2, like outside of equipment and things like that. So it's just not powerful enough. Yes, you can charge. It's a way to play a card for free and charge and have 2 cards left in hand for that turn if you want to do something. but it just doesn't do enough. Like we have other cards that can do more, and so we drop those as well. So Seek Enlightenment doesn't really do it, especially the blue one. Just adding one, and if it hits, it goes to your hero soul again. Yes, feeding your soul is great for Boltyn, but ultimately there is a much better way of doing it, and that's called charge. So again, all the things that really put stuff into our soul but didn't charge are not really worth it for this deck. And again, these are all after the fact too. So like, cool, if it hits, cool. If it hits, you can't use your attack reaction to give it go again with the Boltyn reaction, so it's not even worth it. So we really took pretty much all of those out. Rising Solar Tide, so we took out both the yellow and the red here. Again, these are on-hit effects that don't charge, they add to your hero soul, not what we're going for. Yes, 1 for 5 with a defense of 3 is actually really good, or 5 for 1, I should say. But it's just not, it doesn't do the thing we want it to do, which is always to have things in our soul prior to going to on-hit effects. That's kind of the crux of that. Again, rehashing the same thing over and over. And then, so the hatchets. We actually dropped the Hatchet of Body and the Hatchet of Mind, and you'll see why as we go on to our upgrades. They're expensive. Yes, they can give each other the bonus of go again. The first one you'll have to get a bonus of, attacking it for 2. If you charged your soul, it could be up to 3 if they block. So again, it's hard to give it go again immediately. They have to block, or you have to have a pump or something like that, and it just doesn't do enough for us. And the last ones we dropped out were the push forwards. Again, when we drop the axes, the hatchets, these don't make as much sense. Yes, you can buff your hatchet, your first one, coming in for 5. That's a good amount of damage. If it's your second one in the turn, it gets dominate. And in that case, it would be 6 if your other hatchet was the one before that, which can be really powerful. But we're going away from the hatchets, and these are, again, they require you to have go again sort of really turn these on. So we dropped those as well. All right, so what did we add? So this is the base deck. What did we add? Well, we'll talk about the one we added first, which is Raiden. So this is the Duskbane. This is his majestic weapon, which right now is only $8. So like Unlimited just came out. So this deck is going to have a little bit more power, or could have more power because of Unlimited being flush in the market compared to our previous 3 Blitz deck upgrades, which you're looking for. We did all 3 of them. If you're looking for the links will be in the video. We did all 3 other heroes. So if you're looking for upgrades on any of those, if this Boltyn isn't your thing, go ahead and check out the links below. Check out the channel. We have upgrades for those as well. All, again, under $50, depending upon the cost of these. Again, these should be $15, max $20, and you got $30 to play around with upgrades. Anyways, back to this. $8 for Raiden Duskbane. 0 attack cost, 0 attack power. Well, that's kind of crappy, but if you charge his turn, it gets +3. So really, it's a free attack for 3. Again, all of our cards we put in here, except for 4, charge inherently. That's just powerful. So you're almost always, when you're swinging with this, it's going to be 3 damage. Plus, if they block with something that is an attack reaction, it will be 4. That's very good. So we added Raiden. That was a big part of the deck build is in general. V for the Vanguard. We already had one of these. We added a second one. This card is great. It's a way to start off your turn with, again, a charge. You can charge it as many times as you want. You can give things a bonus later on in that chain based on the number of light cards you've charged. Again, there's only light cards in here except for 2, so that's pretty powerful as well. And again, coming in for 3 isn't that great, but you don't have to hit. It buffs your other ones. This is going to buff itself as well. So again, it's a powerful thing. It can turn on the Boltyn reaction and then also have that +1 to if you get blocks with attacked action cards. So again, very powerful. Added a second one, 25 cents. Again, Raiden's really the only card that costs anything that's not peanuts. Essentially, every other card we're going to talk about actually added to the deck. The shipping is generally more if you're buying a single for it than the actual card. So don't even worry about the rest of the cost. We could have gone a lot higher, but we're trying to keep this as a budget in the sense of Majestics generally aren't going to be super cheap and they'll fluctuate around. So we just wanted to go with, we had just the Raiden as the Majestic. So second V for the Vanguard, Dust Path Pilgrimages. So there was 1 red. We added a second red. We also added 1 yellow. So these are nice because if you're able to give Raiden a buff, if he's coming in for 3 because you've charged, throwing this down as well, bringing him up to 5, even 6, plus go to 7 if you have if they block with an attack action card. Really is quite powerful, harder to block. So you're maybe using their whole hand to block, which is really quite nice. It's almost like, yes, you don't get to hit and attack again, but you just empty their hand and now you're just going to go again. Like you just drop and then you just play off again. So very powerful to have a nice cheap way to buff your weapon and theoretically be able to swing again. And because it's 0 cost, you can just do it over again. And yes, we don't get the bonus. It doesn't stay on there like some of the other Dorinthia cards. It's just the next attack this turn. Still very powerful because it's still going to swing in for 3 to 4 again after that. So very, very nice. What else did we do? We did the Razor Reflex. So every attack in the deck can be used for this. We don't have any attack power. Or I don't think there's any attacks with a cost of there's zero attacks with a cost of 2 or greater. So we were able to get this targeted on everything. We can use it on our sword if we want to. We can use it on any of our attacks and give them go again if we don't have the ability to have the Boltyn reaction online. So even though inherently this will give you the option to it, if your soul is empty, you can't use the Boltyn reaction. But this inherently gives go again anyways for a single cost. So very powerful for the whole idea. So very good upgrade in that regard. Blue Take Flight. So this is our only blue card in the deck. Our only 3 resource pitch card. Although it only attacks for 2, it can go up to 3 if they block an attack action. So it's not the lowest end. Like this will require a full 3 defense card to block fully. And it is more of a pinch point than you might expect. You can't. I guess you could block out with armor, which is fine. But it has go again. You don't inherently. That's why we added this one as the only one that's blue, because you're able to charge. It doesn't matter if they block it out or not. You charge, you get go again. So you've buffed the rest of your turn. You've turned on Raiden. You are ready to go. Everything else is turned on and ready for action. So with that in mind, this is the only blue card, and it was a very powerful inclusion, I think. And this card plays really well. Yellow Engulfing Light. So we took out the blue and yellow versions of Bolt of Courage and Engulfing Light, and we added in the yellow instead. So really, this is just as we talked about with Take Flight. You go to 3, you charge, you go to 3. Yes, this one says it does go to your hero soul if it hits, but we already charged when we played attack. So I know that we were talking earlier about things post soul entrance after you hit, but you've charged anyway, so it doesn't matter. Going up to 3 if they block is powerful, again, because it's that break point of, well, I have to have a 3 defense card to fully block this out, and the on-hit going to the soul is good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an extra card in your soul, so they're incentivized to block there. The Bolt of Courage is quite nice because you get to draw a card. So again, they're incentivized to fully block this, because drawing a card when you theoretically could get go again, or maybe you have something in your hand that you will give yourself go again. A free card is very powerful when most of your cards are all of your cards are 1 cost. So that's actually a clutch card, which is why we just swapped out for the yellow to try to make it more powerful, harder to block out fully. We have the Valiant Thrust. So we had 1 copy of this in the original deck. We added another one because 1 cost for potentially 7 to 8 damage is very powerful. It's a very nice card. Again, every card. This is the only copy of only other card. Actually, there's 2 other cards that does not charge itself, but it has a bonus for charge. So again, you play this like after you've played a Take Flight or something like that. It's coming in for 7. Theoretically, you can go up to 8 if they block with attack action card. So very, very powerful for very, very cheap. Battlefield Blitz. So these were the we've adjusted it. There are now 6 cards that don't have inherent charge. I forgot we added 2 yellow Battlefield Blitzes at the end of our testing, just because we thought that we have enough charge, and this is still very powerful, and it gives a go again, so you can really make that go wide turn when you got something in Arsenal. So although not as powerful as the Valiant Thrust, the go again is essentially more powerful than that extra damage. So this is going to come in for 5, potentially 6, so you're at that 5-6 point instead of 7-8 point. But the go again means you can attack again, which is going to be able to get a buff as well. So you're up a little bit of damage depending upon how they're going to block. 5 is a good break point, 6 is even better. So quite good. Doesn't require to hit to go again, just have to charge. And again, all but these 4 and then the Valiant Thrust are the cards that don't charge. So we have a lot of charge in here. 24 cards of charge is a lot of cards of charge. All right. So what do we want to add? We wanted to add Lumina Ascension and Beacon of Victory, but those being Majestics and likely to go up in value and cost, we didn't put those in. Those would definitely charge up the deck and make charge up the deck and make it even more powerful. So those are definitely good inclusions. We didn't go there. Let's talk about equipment. So the base deck didn't have a huge amount of stuff in it. It had the Gallantry Gold, the Halo of Illumination, the Spellfray Cloak, and the Snapdragon Scalers, which are all great cards. Scalers are great. All the cards will get go again with this, so that's a nice way to get, without the Boltyn reaction being online, to give yourself go again to really, push through and get some more hits. We added almost a full set: Nullrune Boots, Nullrune Gloves, and Nullrune Robe. We probably don't really need the Nullrune Robe all that much, but I think it's better than the Spellfray Cloak, just because if you're playing Runeblade, Spellfray Cloak might be better. But if you're playing a wizard, the Nullrune Robe is obviously so much better. So that's sort of a trade-off. You can definitely adjust your equipment as you see fit based on your meta. We added the stubby hammerers as well. This can be nice because all of your attacks get a +1 while attacking. So again, base power, cards with 3 or less base power. So a lot of these are going to be on the lower end prior to the bump. And again, that's fine because it's base power. So that can still be used. Your bigger cards obviously aren't going to get there, but you can make it work. And this actually might be better than Gallantry Gold because we only have 1 weapon now. And this also costs a single resource. So yes, we can attack multiple times with Raid, and sometimes this is probably just not as well. You might just want to play the stubby hammerers anyways. Ironhide Plate and Helm we added because there is very little defense outside of the base defense cards in this deck, so you definitely want to have a way to do that. Again, maybe you want to play the Iron Rot instead, just based on your meta. You're going to have to sort of figure that out. So, and that is it. Those are our breakdowns of what we've added. So this is the super aggressive version of the Boltyn Precon. This is the upgraded one. It's quite powerful and quite fun to play. Again, it's if you're looking for basically to go out and win in a Blaze of Glory or go out and die in a Blaze of Glory, this is kind of a deck for you. It can have bad matchups, and that might be something that you want to account for if you're playing a lot of Prism. You probably want to switch out, maybe bring in some generics that are 6 power so you can really actually do something about that, because Boltyn doesn't have a lot of reason to play 6 power base tech, so makes it kind of a problem. But you'll have to sort of feel it out as your meta goes. But that will be all for the budget precon upgrade of the Boltyn deck. If you're looking for the other decks, check out the links below. Check out the channel. We've done all 4 now. This is our last one, and I think that'll about do it. So I want to say thank you for Brute Tap Cast, and cheers.